This will be our lesson for Chapter 3, Lesson 2. It's called Adding Integers. So today we're going to talk about 3 vocab words. The first vocab word is a positive integer. A positive integer is any whole number greater than 0. Remember what a whole number is. These are the type of numbers that we use most often in life. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whole numbers are not fractions and not decimals. So a positive integer is any whole number greater than 0. A negative integer is any whole number that's less than 0. So if we put these two definitions together, we can figure out what an integer is, just a plain old integer, and that would be any whole number, positive or negative. And in that definition, we do include 0. So specifically today, we're going to talk about positives, negatives, and this idea of a zero pair. A zero pair is the combination of one positive and one negative, resulting in a sum of 0. So I'm going to use blue and red tiles today to represent positive integers and negative integers. If we take one blue and one red and we put them together, they're going to cancel each other out. Think about it. If you give your friend $1 and then you take that $1 away, your friend is left with nothing, exactly what you started with. If you take a step forward and you take that exact same size step backward, you're back in the same spot you began. So that's the idea here of a zero pair. Put one positive and one negative together, boom, they cancel each other out, and you're left with a 0. So let's get started with some practice problems. Excuse me. The first couple questions you see are not in your notes. So you don't have to be writing these down. What you do have to do is pay attention. And if I ask you to follow along or draw anything, you don't have to draw anything super complex like these tiles. You can just use a plus sign to represent a positive, use a negative to represent a negative sign, a negative integer, and that'll be quick for you. So to get started here, we want to talk about how to model an expression. Modeling an expression is when we take the number and we build it with these tiles. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. We can model the expression 5 plus negative 3. And it's pretty easy. 5 is positive 5, so we're going to use 5 positive tiles to represent that positive integer right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we want to add to our positive 5 3 negative integers, or 3 negative tiles. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. If you were paying attention during the vocab page, you'll notice that this combination of one positive and one negative cancels out, and we're left with 0. That's the zero pair. We have another 0 pair right here. They cancel each other out, and one more 0 pair right here. So what's left for us are these 2 positives right here, and that tells me that the answer to my addition problem, when I add 5 plus negative 3, after my 0 pairs cancel away, I have 2 positives. So my final answer is positive 2. It's that easy. Model these problems, create the 0 pairs. Let's take a look at another one. Negative 4 plus 7. Pause the video really fast, and I want you to try to build this expression for me, or draw it on your paper. Use negative signs to represent negative 4. Use positive signs to represent positive 7. Oops. Okay, you should have had enough time to draw out this expression, so let's see if your model matches mine. I've got negative 4 here, so that's 4 negatives. I'm adding to it 7 positives. By the way, it really helps if you line up your problem nice and neat like this. It makes creating the 0 pairs very, very easy. And now I've got 4 negatives plus 7 positives. If you take a look, here's my cluster of 0 pairs. Let me get rid of them. Let's cancel them out. One gone, another one gone, gone, and gone. And that leaves me with these 3 positives left over. So my final answer this time is positive 3. As we're going through these problems, I want you to start thinking, can I predict if my answer will be positive or negative? Just by looking at the first 2 numbers, can I predict if I'm going to get a positive or a negative answer? Let's look at the next one and see if we can make a prediction here. This one does look a little bit different. I'm going to warn you. This one's different because both numbers are negative this time. We're taking -2 and we're adding to it -5. So before we start, can you predict if our answer will be positive or negative? Think about that for a quick second. Okay, I hope you have your prediction there. We'll talk about that very, very shortly. Let's build this problem. 2 negatives, and we are adding to it 5 more negatives. So my -2, and now I'm adding -5. Well, look how this problem looks different than the last one. I have no zero pairs. Not a single blue is on my screen here, except for my, pile up there. But in my problem, there's not a single blue tile. So that means I can't make any zero pairs. This is really great when this happens because all we have to do is add them together. So if we count them up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that means my answer is going to be 7. And don't forget, they're red 7s. So it's going to be a -7 for my final answer. -7. Pretty good. Take a look at this one. This will be our last example problem. Make a prediction quickly. What's going to happen? What kind of answer will I have? I'm adding 3 negatives plus 2 negatives plus 2 more negatives. Go ahead and build the problem with me. 3 negatives. Now I'm adding 2 more negatives. And I'm adding, again, 2 more negatives. Again, I don't see a single blue tile in my problem. That means no zero pairs. That means I can't cancel anything out. Instead, I just add them all together. If I count them up, I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And they are red, so that's a -7 in my final answer. Take this system with drawing positive and negative tiles. I'd like you to complete the following assignment. In your note packet, complete questions 1 through 4 on page 2. Make sure that you have those finished. And then I would also like you to complete the Google form for Chapter 3, Lesson 2. That's going to get us thinking about adding integers. I'm also going to add a subtraction problem in there to see if you can figure that one out. We'll cover that in class. Don't forget to ask any questions in your Google form, and we will talk about this tomorrow.